5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Phenomena. Tiptoe through the tulips with me.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to...
This one's explosive.
Oh, once again, raiding the waves, blowing minds, turning graves, exposing darkness, shining light. We are the occult. Kryptonite.
Hey, what's up? This is Talk Supernatural Radio, where we bring you Supernatural 411 from the U.S. to the U.K., up north to down under, Rhode Island to Easter Island, from the outback to the front door, even through Poop, Mexico to Humpty-Doo, Australia. And if you are listening, you are right where you're supposed to be.
The views and opinions and personalities expressed on this show are those solely of TSR and do represent who we are and what we believe. If you don't like satire, if you find rabbit trailing annoying, if you don't like to laugh, if you can't handle the truth, do not listen to this show. We are not responsible for your nightmares, denial issues, bleeding ears, or annoyance.
Oh, salutations and appreciation to everyone listening. Welcome to another episode of TSR, where fun meets scary truth. Friday nights. We are your truth casters, Heidi in Scotland, and sharing with you bizarre stories and spiritual info with laughs and words to live right by.
I think Morgan Freeman's going to have you document his life. If he ever has his life a documentary.
I got to say this every week. I'm just trying to make it interesting.
It is, and you make it interesting. You know? I feel it, man. On this episode, by popular request, we're going to be speaking about supernatural...
Me?
No, by popular request, honey.
Oh, my bad.
We're going to be speaking about supernatural doorways, signs of spirit attachments, and the effect of hauntings. We get so many emails weekly, and a lot of them have to do with those kinds of questions. Not just Talk Supernatural podcast, but with our SWAT investigations.
SWAT.
And if by chance anybody's been going to the SWAT website, it is down for about a week and a half because they
tried to charge us money.
Lots of money.
I was like, you don't understand. We ain't got no money. You can't charge money to somebody who ain't got none to pay it.
Got none to pay it?
Got none to pay it.
You talk like that, you ain't going to get none.
We're so poor that the people on the street with the little bags and chains and the hat, they give it to us.
On Thanksgiving, when they have those food drives, I never donate because we're just going to be getting our own food back. No, we're going to revamp our site, and we're switching servers, so someone that is affordable. Free. Yeah, very affordable.
Let's redefine affordable. Free.
So we will have that up and running, but that's the SWAT website, in case anybody's wondering. But if you are listening live now and you have a comment or question for us, something in general or about the topic tonight, feel free to join us in the chat room and ask while we're broadcasting.
Oh, come into the chat room and be a part of us. Join us together as one.
Well, we do air Friday nights, and people are busy Friday nights. But
who could be busy? Everybody in the world should be tied into this right now.
We do a lot of downloads, too.
And I'll give some, leniency to those who maybe are, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for them.
You're going to give them leniency? You're going to grant them leniency? That's nice of you.
I'm a people kind of
guy. But if you want, you can click on the little chat bubble while we're live, and we can answer on air. If you're listening pre-recorded, not pre-recorded, like after post-recording, you can still click on that chat bubble.
Just nobody will be there to listen.
We can reply when we see it. It'll go in as a comment.
You can click on it whenever you want. Doesn't mean anybody's going to listen to you.
Just keep talking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can still ask. Or you can always email us anytime, too, at talksupernatural@gmail.com. But before we jump into tonight's pool of chaos, let's do some news, some headlines that we deem bizarre and
I had sugar!
supernatural.
Interesting.
Headlines.
You're dancing. Demon.
Hey!
What?
Today is Bruce Springsteen's birthday. He's 67.
The boss is 67.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes me feel old. My son's babysitter has turned 40
and
today.
his number one hit was Dancing in the Dark. His best.
Well, we should have played that for our thing.
Yeah.
Although Dancing in the Dark, that was
it, man. 1984.
I didn't think that was that great of a song.
I did, and obviously so did a lot of other people.
I was more of a 90s kind of dance club kind of person.
Yeah, well, if you want to be uncool. Okay, go ahead.
First news story, Demon Dog Killer.
We had one of those.
Okay. New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Well, here, you can do the story.
What? Where?
Right here. The news story.
The 70-year-old Marilyn Jones was arrested after she was accused of trying to drown her dog. Gracie is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Police charged Marilyn with a felony animal cruelty because she took Gracie into the bay of the Lighthouse Point Park and started drowning it, holding it under the water. There were numerous witnesses that stated she was laughing in a demonic way while doing it. Oh. Another man took a dog from her and yelled, "My God, you killed your dog, lady. You're crazy." He brought it to the shore, and a lifeguard actually revived the dog, and the witnesses said she was eerily laughing again. This is a bad sign.
She's in court now for it. She's being charged and all that stuff. So I'm wondering.
I'm glad the dog made it, though.
I know. I'm such a dog lover.
I mean, spaniels in general. I mean, I don't know spaniels to really be in a very aggressive.
Oh, they're sweet puppies.
Yeah, the puppies.
The puppies.
The puppies.
The puppies.
Puppies.
But I don't know. Do you think they said that she had this weird demonic laugh?
Well,
I mean, why are
you had
a
an
demon?
Awful dog. I mean,
I really don't think it's
she
demonic.
She was laughing and all that. It sounds like she was the one with the problem.
Right, and I don't think it was really demonic.
So we have a demon dog killer. Yeah, that's
Demons don't care about animals. They care about people. So if they're trying to ruin her life, maybe. But it didn't sound too demonic to me. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. The second story is the Hillary Clinton chaos. Oh, my gosh. Just blowing up the internet. If anybody knows, and it's not even about the politics. It's about, I don't know, the Matrix.
We don't even, this thing has gotten to the point, and this is not whether we're Hillary fans, not Hillary fans, Trump fans, not Trump. It has nothing to do with that. We're just talking about what is going on around all the sickness and videos and conspiracies and this
just
whole
seems
thing.
like there's something they're not telling us regarding Hillary.
There's something going on, and we're about to get to the bottom of it, and you can bet your bottom on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether you're a Hillary fan or not, there is some bizarre stuff going on. It's not crazy conspiracy stuff either. I mean,
no, it's not.
Okay, so it mainly began circulating on September 11th at the Twin Tower Memorial in New York. Everybody knows she left in the middle of the ceremony. She faints in the van or right before the van or whatever. And they blew up the footage, and there's a lot of people's theories on what's wrong with her. She's got Parkinson's, she had a seizure, and then they were saying that it was heat exhaustion. That was ruled out because...
It was 78 degrees.
Yeah. A dehydration. Well, it wasn't even that hot. Then they said she had the flu. No, she has pneumonia. She's, it's like, okay, just tell us what's wrong with her. Just, if you don't know, say she's getting checked out. That's the problem.
Say nothing.
If you're going to just continue to lie.
Say nothing.
And people already attribute lying to her because of the whole email scandal and Benghazi. So it's like, this is the point where you just be honest, So then days later, she's back on the trail, the campaign trail, or was she? First of all, people are like, well, you have pneumonia. You don't just come back in a couple days 100% better. So she comes back looking better than she did before she had this supposed pneumonia.
Or was it
Dun,
her?
dun, dun. That's it.
Dun, dun. It might have been me.
It was definitely not you. But so there's that video of her doing the North Carolina speech. And all over the internet, if you guys haven't seen it or whatever, but it shows as she's on video that it glitches the camera as she's giving this whole speech. And it's like, not the whole film glitches, just Hillary's silhouette.
Just her
not the background.
and the podium, but the background doesn't change.
Yeah, that's weird. There was also, at that same thing, they had pictures or video, of people waiting for her to come. And as they're holding up the cell phones to videotape her in the audience, all their cell phones are showing different things. They're not showing the scene that they're supposedly recording.
Right. The background that should be in their phones, which has 3 flags, and then where she's standing by the podium is like one big, giant, red and white striped
flag. Yeah.
And as you see, these people are holding up their phones to, videotape or whatever.
Right.
Hillary coming in, and that's not what's on any of their phones. Because you can see the phones in the video, and that's...
And she walks by them,
she doesn't
and nothing's
show
happening.
up in the screens.
It's like, well, that's weird. And then there's a picture or video of that whole scene from afar as if they were in the balcony. And they show that where she's supposedly standing at this podium to where this flag is, there's a great distance, and I'm really bad at, feet and stuff, but it's really far away. It would be from a house to the end of the driveway kind of far
like a
away.
50 feet type thing, or
Sure.
30 feet, 40 feet. A considerable distance.
And the fact that when you see her speaking, it looks like the flag's directly behind her. And then there is
The shadows.
So if that flag is supposedly is that far away, the guys that are like behind her or whatever, their shadows are casting right on the flag. And there's no way that could happen if that flag was way behind, which it was. Even though the video of her speaking, it's right there. So that's weird. Then you've got the fact that she looks perfect. She looks like she's on Vogue magazine. If you look at her, all her pictures even before that, when you get older, your neck starts getting all creepy crawly.
Yeah, turkey neck.
Turkey neck. Yeah. And hers is like perfect. Her face, she has like no wrinkles. It looks just, and there's no way you can do that. Makeup for your face, but it didn't even look like makeup. It looked fake. And then it looked like she was photoshopped in person. It was just weird.
Right.
So I think that was all a green screen, but I just don't know why they would do that. Some people are saying Hillary's dead, that she's too sick, but they want her to go on, that Kane's going to take over. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we're not claiming anything. There's a whole bunch of junk going on here. It doesn't make any sense. And that's not all. Don't forget at the end of her speech, she waves to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then she turns around and waves to the people who do not exist behind her because the flag is supposedly behind her. There's nothing behind her.
And then she points.
But she's waving, and she's pointing and waving to what?
The flag.
So
Yeah.
our guess is it's probably a green screen hologram type thing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is probably the people that you're seeing with the cameras and stuff are probably at another event, another time, and they added this whole thing with Hillary for TV and everything else, and it never really
to make
happened.
everybody think she's okay. And I know, a while back, a couple years ago, they did that. I was telling some people they did that with Prince Charles, and they had him deliver this speech. They had invites. It was this big gala and dinner, and then they had him speak for like 90 minutes, and then only to reveal at the end that the entire thing was a hologram. No one knew. They were blown away. All the people there were like, "What?" And they weren't trying to trick them. They were just trying to show them like they thought it was cool. Like they revealed it.
Is it cool?
That's what I'm saying.
We are
It's
in a
scary.
position in society right now that with the video games and the holograms and technology, that you could have people that have been dead for 50 years make a movie, and you wouldn't know that they weren't there.
Right.
You could deliver speeches and do all these things to people that are dead, gone, not there. It should get really cheap to make movies pretty quick.
And
it's all technology.
And for those of listeners who are Bible believers like you and I are, my thoughts are when this comes down to the end, when God appears, or when the two prophets come to the wall, they're going to say, "Oh, it was all fake. It was a hologram or whatever," even though it was real. So they're going to put the old what do you call it, the catch and bait, switch and bait thing on us.
Or to everybody else in the world except for those who were actually there. They can show this thing however they want to show it. They can show them as there's nothing going on here. We don't know what's going on. Look, here's a picture of what's going on. Nothing. There's nothing there.
I hate the fact that there's so much technology because you really don't know what's real. Right. And it's the same thing when we get people send us videos, send us pictures of orbs and spirits and stuff. There's this one guy, and I won't say who he is, but he's professing that he's this deliverer of demons, and he's on his website. He's got this video and as proof. And I mean, if this thing was real, oh my goodness, amazing, right? But I can't even believe it because it could be a very well done. You know, you just don't know anymore. It's taken the validity away from this stuff.
But we are real.
We are.
Hey, look.
There.
See us tapping?
Hello,
and I'm going to tap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Did you hear that?
We're real.
Me. We're real.
Okay. So,
we proved it. No denial. You're not building a wall around
I'll be interested to see how this whole debate goes. It's going to be on Monday night.
I mean,
is she going to be there? Is it going to be her double?
I wouldn't wish anything bad
on
health-wise
anybody.
for any of these,
no.
whether I'm Republican, Democrat, liberal, whatever. I don't wish anything bad. I mean, I hope that she's fine.
I just like people telling us the truth.
I hope that she gets fine. And if she's not fine and really can't do this job, I would hope that would just come out and let's, if we have to do something weird with the election or whatever, fine, but let's just do what's right. But I think the world is beyond doing what is right.
Don't you say it's a vampire?
Oh,
the world is
world's
a vampire.
It's going to suck you dry.
We did an interview last night with Jerry from Thai Girl from God, and Scott. That was Scott's quote of the night. Do you have anything profound to say? World's a vampire. Okay, next story, another one that's circulating around, and I personally believe it's in the paranormal world. It is being way blown out of proportion as far as importance. Like, I personally don't care, but I'm going to report it because everybody else seems to care. The former ghost hunting reality personality was arrested, Ryan Buell of A&E's Paranormal State. He's now in jail in the middle of 2 felony theft charges. He's also facing a misdemeanor charge of theft of services.
Theft of services?
Yeah. I'll explain in a sec. All charges are in Pennsylvania, where Buell was last known to be living. He was on Paranormal State looking for ghosts, and he has this sizable fan base across the country. It's crazy. I mean, people not only... okay, he would be like, the guys from Ghost Hunters type thing, okay? So he's got a fan base, but... some people are just enamored by this guy, and it's like, okay, he just looks for ghosts. What's the big deal? They're making him out to be more than he is.
People enamor themselves over all sorts of things.
It's weird.
You should be enamored by me.
Oh, you're enamored by yourself. That's all you need.
Rightfully so.
Well, some fans aren't that fond of him right now because he canceled some things without providing refunds. That's where the theft of services comes in.
You can't take money and do nothing.
He started this tour called Conversations with the Dead Tour, and tickets were sold to shows in cities across...
That's a quiet deal.
Oh, okay. I don't even know what it was about. What was he just going to talk? I don't know. Play EVPs? Who knows? But across the U.S. and Canada, he was going to have these shows, but they started getting postponed, and then a lot of them got canceled, and he kept putting them off. And then he left a lot of fans with no answers and no refunds. And we're not talking $20 per person. We're talking hundreds per person because and hotel fees, and they set up these packages, and people are...
No, wasn't there a similar thing that happened?
Yes. That was... I think I bring her up, too.
Okay.
No, I don't. Malone. I forgot her name. I think her last name was Malone, though. She did that at Tombstone, and she was arrested as well. Right. Crazy.
And then just took all the money and never did anything.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it's him, or if there was actually a sister story to that. Someone else tried to do it again in Tombstone, and they got screwed over again. It's like, you guys need to stop trusting people. But it might even be him. I'm not sure. So some of these people were able to get refunds by disputing the charge with their credit card company, but not many. So it didn't come from him. It came from, So Chip Coffey, who's a longtime friend of Buell, he was on the show with him. Now, he was scheduled to be on...
That means his initials are CC.
Yeah.
Yo, hit it, CC.
Okay. All right.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay. So, but he was scheduled to be on the tour with Buell, right? But if you remember, we mentioned Chip Coffey in a past episode. He's another guy. He's got a big fan base, right? He was ousted for faking a lot of the content on Paranormal State and got the boot. But at that time, his buddy Ryan blamed Chip for it, and Chip blamed Ryan, and they had a little mini feud going, but obviously they patched it up or whatnot. Or it could have been the internet blowing it up. I don't know.
Right. Or maybe it was a conspiracy, man.
Could have been. But now Ryan is blaming Chip for all the lies and deceit on this tour. So he's just got all these problems. I don't even know what's going on. So with the issues of the public appearances, this happened in 2015, I mean. And now everything's sort of coming to a head this year because he's continuing to do the same things. So we're talking lots of money here.
So he hasn't stopped?
No, but he's in jail, so he stopped now. Now, Chip is saying that Ryan had over $80,000 in ticket sales in 2014.
Ooh, I want to do that.
And he did this again in 2012. But supposedly he had cancer. And then he didn't have cancer. And then he did. And then some people he did it, and some people he didn't. It's like, you don't know what this guy's telling the truth about. Several of the shows never happened.
Is he a politician?
He's working for Hillary. Time passes, and Ryan starts connecting with fans again. And he starts advertising shows again. And once again, the fans complained that he took their money for the events, didn't show, and they were canceled. The most recent one was just last month, being this big dinner he was supposed to be at, and he didn't do that. And it's pretty bad when his own mom comes out and publicly says, hey,
Whoa.
Yeah, she says, you know what? Stop buying tickets for my son. Stop sending him money. Don't buy his merchandise. She said they're enabling him. He's,
Yeah, it's right. So if mom's saying it.
He was even charging people to talk to him on the phone. So I'm like, wow.
I did that
They
once.
said, you did what? You talked to him on the phone?
No, I charge people to talk to me on the phone.
Yeah? How'd that go? How much you make?
Nobody called.
That's okay. I had a feeling. So they were also paying money to watch him on video platforms, and his mom said he's not sick with cancer. He wasn't, but she said he is sick. And I think it was sort of a dig, like maybe mentally he's got,
right.
She said right now, just stop buying stuff from him. And they were actually, he was even his fans were housing him, hiding him from the cops for a while. So she's like, everybody just stop, get off this roller coaster. Right now he's in a detention center in South Carolina, and he's just going to face these charges. And I guess, I didn't even want to do this story, but it's like so big in the paranormal community. But I guess my main thing would be, you have to be so careful when you sign up for these things. Those Paracons are about the only ones.
Trust us. We are the only ones that will lead you to the right path to take. It's only the Heidi and Scott show that will enable you to enter into that realm of peace and rest and belief. What?
Oh. Mic drop, and you're done. That was beautiful, Scott. Thank you. But you have to be real.
That was an extra, and
we won't charge you for that. But the thing is, so many people are buying into these paranormal packages, and you only hear about these big stories, but there's plenty of people that do this,
so
and it's wrong.
So many people are, fascinated with the paranormal, and they, in defense of some of the people buying this stuff, they're like, yeah, that sounds great. If you never experienced the kind of stuff we have, realizing, okay, paranormal's not all that. You can get a little sketchy. It's like, and then they buy into this, and people take, why do they got to do that?
Well, because there's thieves out there, And I think part of the problem, too, is that people don't do the research. They don't check into stuff. Like, I get stuff sent to me all the time, these news stories about demons and stuff, and it's fake. Like, did you look at the story? Like, you just looked at it for 2 seconds, sent me the story, didn't read the whole thing, didn't see in the bottom it said this is a fake site or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't a real picture of a ghost. It's like...
Yeah, some of the sites will actually tell you that.
Yeah.
They're like, this is... And they had fun. They made the site.
Yeah.
It looked real, kind of like that movie Blair Witch, the original.
Right.
For those who didn't listen or check it out, there's people who were, freaked out. They were like, whoa, and it was well done for the way, how it was done, and it's like, well, it was all fake.
And people were like, no, it happened.
It's like,
no,
you
it really
didn't. Read the disclaimers in the front, the end of the movie or beginning. It actually says that. But, yeah.
You got to do your research,
reading.
people.
You read some, that means you can read. Finish the rest.
Before you give away your money, make sure that you do research
You
on.
can't just open the middle of the Bible and say, look, Jesus died, that's it, click. I mean, there's more.
And my practical thoughts were not about Jesus in the Bible.
Well, I'm just saying, that's what people do. They grab something in the middle and they say, well, that's it, that's the whole story, that's it.
Well, regarding this, though, I think that people need to make sure their credit card companies would issue them a refund. They need to check into that. You can call your credit card company and they'll, but research.
I know I'm calling mine tomorrow.
Research the person, research the event and the avenue. I mean, you research everything before you give away money. Ugh. All right. Japanese company is using, I want to get your thoughts on this, amplified...
I try not to express my thoughts.
Oh, really?
I try to remain calm.
That's not true.
I get quiet.
No.
I don't just shoot my mouth off over
do.
nothing for
All
no
the time.
reason.
Every time.
I'm a very...
For no reason's right, but yeah.
What?
So, they're using this amplified reality for people to hear from the dead. But just not dead, just you'll hear.
Partially dead.
A lot of companies are trying to hop onto the whole reality game train, ever since this Pokemon Go thing.
Yeah.
So this Japanese company decides that they're going to jump on with their own product. Guess what kind of company it is?
What?
It is a tombstone company. They have an app called Spot Message, and it was developed to coincide with the company's president's lifelong goal of preserving the memory of deceased loved ones. And I mean, when someone passes and you feel like you didn't say enough or they didn't say enough, or you just, you missed them, I get it. But
it's terrible. It's working on people's emotions.
Well, no, this isn't a bad thing, though.
No, it's a bad thing. It sounds bad.
You don't even know the whole story yet.
It's enough. It's enough for me to want to take them to court. I'm going to sue them for everything they have.
Okay.
Don't have, will have, might have. And their ancestors to the 7th and 8th generations.
All right.
Or no.
No.
Have to be, it can't be their ancestors. I can't sue them. I'd have to go forward. People to be. What do you call that?
People to be? I don't know what you're talking about right now. All right.
Never mind. Just stick to the story and quit
I'm
rabbit
trying.
trailing.
This app uses amplified reality to allow users to catch pre-recorded video messages from their loved ones at
That's
their
pre-recorded.
graves.
So people make the pre-recorded things
Yeah.
before they die, or they know they're getting sick or something like that, and they make these things? Okay.
Yeah. But the company mainly advertises to family members who want to leave messages for their loved ones at their death, okay? So that would be like if you and I were to do these for our kids if we were to pass or whatever, okay? But they can also leave messages at any number of locations. They don't, so it's actually an app like Pokemon Go where you would go to that person's grave or you would go somewhere and then it would show up on your phone, that message from your parents or whoever.
Oh, so it could be 30 years later, like from now,
Right.
and it's like, okay, wow.
Yeah. It's an Android app. It's free to download, and you get up to 10 messages. After that, you can pay to have up to 30 messages and share it with up to 200 people in the company's cloud server. So,
How much are
so
our brains
creepy.
going to be able to handle with so much stuff in the cloud, in the sky,
Yeah.
in our airwaves?
Yeah.
I mean, they've... What's that cool thing, and this is a little bit of a rabbit trail, but just because I said, you remember that thing we saw on the internet or whatever with the popcorn? The 3 cell phones?
Oh, yeah, we never did that. We forgot.
Oh, we forgot to do that, but it takes 3 cell phones and put them and put popcorn seeds in the middle, and then you'll have to use some more phones, but call them numbers all at the same time. The popcorn will pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. So, if
yeah,
radiation, what is that
there's a whole
doing
bunch of junk
to our
in the airwaves.
ears?
I mean, you can pop
That's
popcorn.
creepy.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of this? I mean, do you think... I mean, it's sort of creepy. Like, you imagine all these people at their graves and they're watching these videos. I don't know.
Sometimes, I mean...
How do you have closure?
Exactly what I was thinking. How do you just let it go?
Because then you
and
get
just
people
move on.
who just can't.
They can't. And then here, they're sitting there, they're there every day, and they're just over and over on this thing, over and over. I don't know.
Like,
I see the positive of it, but,
Like, I have a voicemail message from our son, who is 24 now, and I think this was when he was like 18. I still have it on my voicemail, and it was just like a 2-second thank you for a Christmas gift, and it was such a cute message. He called me from work to thank me.
You never called me to that.
But because he was really, because it was for me.
What about me?
And I got him the wrong gift, so on the day after Christmas, I ran to the store to exchange it for the right gift, the right version.
Right.
And so I dropped it off at his work.
Right.
And he called me and thanked me. And I thought it was so sweet. So I saved it. And once in a while I listen to it, it makes me smile.
Yeah.
But if he were gone, I would be creeped out if I listened to his voice. Hi, if you're watching this, I'm dead. It's like,
you know you wouldn't get rid of it, though.
Oh, I don't.
You would not get rid of it.
Probably
so
not.
I'm up in the air on both sides of this. I guess, I think it's nice, but it can be bad for some people to have that ability to continue to listen to somebody who's passed on and that they can't seem to let go. There's some people just can't let go of things, and I'm thankful that I haven't been put in that position yet with someone so close to me that has died that I can't let go. I'm just thankful for that because I'm not saying
I'm still not over our dog passing away from last year.
I mean, with that in mind, I don't know if that's good for everybody.
I don't think so.
And you can't be judgmental when
No, just not for me.
No, I'm just saying when you provide this type of service, you're providing a service. You can't help what that may or may not be doing to the individual that continues to listen to it over and over and keep going there over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe somebody would like to
chime in
and speak your mind. And if we don't like what you hear, we'll just shut you off.
Anyways.
Just click the exit button. Goodbye.
All right, next story.
Sorry.
Appeal for help. A family in Kenyan village, and our friends are going to Kenya. Didn't he say he was going to Kenya?
That Kenya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean that Kenya? There's only one Kenya.
I think there's cities named that.
Is there?
Yeah. Are you kidding? You found Poop, Mexico. You don't think there's someplace named Kenya besides the country?
Well, this was a Kenyan village. Their family there is appealing for spiritual assistance to help them exorcise what they feel is a demonic attack on their children. Since April, this family's been suffering from what they believe to be a witchcraft spell. It began with sleepless nights, and neighbors started praying for them. Then the kids' eyes would roll back, and they started jerking and jumping and threw themselves into the ground. And the mom said they flared up like a snake, which that's why I asked you earlier what that meant. And you said that snakes flare up.
Flare up, yeah.
People had to keep the sisters from hurting themselves. Now, the mother said she's been suffering from frequent and unexplained illness the last few months. And it started with this simple nosebleed. Then she started getting headaches, so she went to the doctor to find out what's going on. They said they couldn't find anything wrong with her. Then it was her limbs would tremble so bad that she'd actually collapse. And she started to get a funny feeling, she said, as though spirits were invading her body. Yes, that's not normal. She succumbed to almost out-of-body experiences. And she said that she would have these visions that she was taken to some cemetery, and she was receiving visions of unexplained dangers that were about to hit the family. Now, she never mentions if they did happen or not, but she began to pray, and it would let up. And then at their previous home, the mom said that she'd get a vision of this very big snake-like thing.
A serpent.
Yeah.
And upon your belly, all the days of your life you shall crawl, eating the dirt and the dust of the earth for what you have done to the woman.
But, Scott.
What? Yes.
Okay.
All right.
When they moved from that home, she and her children started having epileptic seizures. She said even after visiting various hospitals and administering several x-rays, doctors never were able to diagnose them with anything wrong. They're at this point now where they've actually turned to the public for help for anyone who possesses any kind of gift of spirituality to come and pray for divine intervention.
Where we gotta
go? Kenya. Maybe we should send Craig. We could send Craig
going there.
That's what I was saying. I said, isn't Craig going to Kenya?
Well, let's call him up. He's actually going there.
Well, I don't know where this lady lives. I don't have her address.
Kenya's probably a small place.
Yeah. In Kenya, down the street, down Main Street in Kenya. Yeah, we have a friend who's actually leaving Monday to go to Kenya.
Sunday night or Monday going to Kenya.
Well, maybe you can find her. All right.
Can you go? Yeah, I can. Can you go?
You are so lame.
No, I'm not.
So this is going to take us into tonight's topic, that story. We're going to talk about doorways, signs,
Kenya,
and effects of spirits.
Hey, we might know if we got any listeners in Kenya.
Maybe. I don't know. More specifically, what are ways we allow spirits and their powers into our lives? What are the signs that you have...
Don't go to Kenya.
what are signs that you have a spirit attached to you? And what are the short-term and long-lasting effects of hauntings? So, with this story, we hear a lot about these third world countries and places like Kenya, Malaysia, and
Even
stuff.
second world countries, too.
And third and fourth.
You said third already.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
fourth.
repeat.
I meant fourth, sorry. But why do they have so much demonic activity? And I know that they accept more than we do as far as spiritual.
What are they practicing, too?
And yeah, their culture opens doorways by their
culture,
practices.
yeah.
Their,
And it's unfortunate because for some of these doorways that are be opened by different religious beliefs and different occult beliefs, for them, they may not consider it an occult belief. They say, that's the way I was raised. That's what we do.
That's all
This
you know.
is how I live. This is how I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And, so from their perspective, we're wrong.
right, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
it's a hard, it's hard. 90%, that's a lot of our cases about hauntings have been occult related. The other 10%, basically, we have no idea.
No.
5% are unsure of their history, and there's about 5% that it wasn't connected. But in every single case, there's a common medical issue or issues. Often depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, fibromyalgia, migraines, and sleep disorders, and massive hunger for cookies.
No, that last one's not true. There is no massive hunger for cookies.
You know that? Have you asked every client
Yes.
that specific
I know. The Specifica?
question?
I have asked that. And
You don't
if they
know
were
that.
hungry for cookies, they would tell us.
Did you ask them?
I didn't have to ask them. I knew.
Really?
I know people who eat cookies. A lot of them. A lot of people I know eat cookies. And when
got
they're
Cookie Monster. C is for cookie.
Okay.
And cookie is for
Scott,
me.
you
What?
can't have coffee or whatever before we podcast. The phenomena of a haunting, which is the physical manifestation of spirits, is very real and present with places and people. Whether someone's used a Ouija board or took part in a seance, has seen a psychic, or took part in a ghost hunt, they've done something to open a doorway, whether they meant to or not, whether they believed it or not. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, Sherry B. from Kentucky. Yes. Hi, Sherry. Hey. What's up? Anyway, she wants to know, how do we know if it's a haunting? Well, are people rotating their heads around?
Yeah.
Can you not see them? Are things flying across the room? These are all very good indications you may have a haunting.
Or we just told her that she would know.
Oh,
Yeah. You know.
you know.
You know when you have a haunting. Like,
Well, if you know in your own mind that you're a stable person and it's like you've never had these instances before and you continue to have not one unexplained thing, because there can always be something unexplained that is explainable. You just have no way of finding out what it was.
Yeah.
A noise, a shadow. There can always be something that caused that. But if it continues to happen on a regular basis, specific time, or targeting a certain area of the house, or just when you're alone, or just when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, or you're feeling ill, you're feeling sick, unexplained things, a
Yeah.
continuous, and then you find out you have a little bit of a growth to that too, like
it increases.
that started. Yeah, well, it's not so bad in the beginning. I thought I'd seen a shadow. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I thought I heard a voice. I don't know, maybe. But then, over time, and especially if you start getting other people to say, hey, what was that?
Well, and the number one thing to do is not to speak to it, not to acknowledge it, not to talk about it, because that feeds it energy, and then it gets more attention, and it will manifest into something
These
more.
ghosts or demons say, I always want attention.
Imagine that.
And they haven't
They haven't enough their
we want
first
attention,
80 years of
we
life.
want attention. It's all about them.
Yeah, don't acknowledge it. That's the first thing I say.
Yeah.
But when with Sherry though, like I told her, like if you feel something's off, and there's this fear when things happen, but a haunting doesn't just consist of one incident or one encounter either. Like Scott said, it's got to be continual. What about it?
I mean, you're all like technical. I mean,
Yeah.
me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's opposite. Sometimes I'm the flighty, whatever,
Sometimes.
spiritual, and you're the all Mr. Technical.
That's me.
So it depends.
I am a technical guru.
Oh, you know what happened to me today when I was doing the podcast stuff?
that?
I all of a sudden, I felt like I thought hair from my head came to my eye, and I went to itch it, and it was a spider. It was crawling down my face. Freaked out. You should have seen me. Thing starts crawling away. I was probably so scared. I was freaking out. I just kept hitting my face over and over again. The spider was gone. I don't know. It was
I know. It's just like, yeah, get the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crawling on me.
Oh, man.
Just think, though. Let's look at the positive side of that. It was a spider, not a centipede.
Well, yeah, that'd be creepy.
Centipede is a reason to move.
There was a chick who just trashed her car because she saw a spider come down while she was driving. I've had that with the bee. I've had that with bees.
My mom's that bad with moths.
Yeah, she's afraid of moths, which is weird.
I remember being about 8. Now, this is not a rabbit trail. This is very important to all you listeners that really want to know about this ghost stuff. You know what? Ghosts are dead. Don't worry about them. But living things, like having a moth in your car, when my mom stops in the middle of Highway 11 and gets out of the car in the middle of the road.
Because of a moth.
Yeah, she's petrified of moths.
That's weird.
So, anytime she aggravated
What
me,
about
I knew
butterflies?
Exactly. Yep, same thing.
Really, she don't like butterflies
same
either?
thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew exactly what to do.
Oh, that's mean.
That's right. Keep it up, Mom.
Such a guy.
Go ahead, yell at me one more time.
All right. So, anyways, as far as Sherry's question, what was going on was her and her boyfriend were having these odd sounds on their baby monitors, and they were having lots of electrical issues and seeing shadows. And after talking extensively with her, I sort of felt it wasn't a haunting. And I don't know if she, by email it's hard to tell if she was digging that answer or not, but she emailed me back a couple months later, and then she told me that she agreed. Well, here was the thing that we pinpointed. With the baby monitor, they figured out, which was something I said, it was picking up
say
stuff.
This. I see what you're reading.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say that baby monitors can pick up other monitors.
Right.
Nearby.
Well, they were picking up a CB from their neighbor.
Yep,
he was a
pick it
truck
up.
driver.
Yep.
The electrical issues were actually electrical issues from inside the home. It was mice or something. It was
Sure.
I forgot what was going on. But the shadows was what we couldn't figure out. I wasn't sure about why they were seeing shadows. Finally, her boyfriend figured it out. It was a reflection from a fox outside the house. So when the moon was shining at a certain time at night, they thought they kept seeing the shadow at the same time of night. It would come around the
Oh, yeah, they're routine.
things.
Foxes and
Oh, are
animals
they?
like that. And so are raccoons and stuff like that.
Yep.
They're very routine. They will tend to go down the same path.
And if you look at a fox
Right.
with the pointy ears and everything,
Did
so
you say
fox?
fox?
I can't do it. I can't. Oh boy, we've been so good about not singing it.
We have. Have you noticed? Oh, we're very serious tonight. And
You are not serious
I'm
tonight.
serious tonight. I'm into this. This is cool, man.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, you did.
When?
Just no.
What?
Okay.
All right.
But I told her, I said, and the main reason I felt it wasn't a haunting was because no one was sick. When you have a haunting, it does actually take a toll on you physically. And that is something a key thing that we always look for. And they were all doing fine, even the baby. So, that worked out okay.
So, now, what we're not saying, every time you're sick, you're being haunted.
No.
So, if you get sick, it's probably because you just can't live on Cheetos all your life. We all know the common signs of hauntings: unexplained noises, things being moved by themselves, items disappearing, electrical problems, seeing shadows. Also, you can have electrical problems, power just going off and on often, or light bulbs
Blowing.
are a good one. Just like I changed the bulb a week ago, it's out again.
Oh, yeah.
Continuously having light
But
bulb
different
problems.
ones, not the same one.
Right, different ones. I mean, just like a constant disturbance in something. Electrical is a very, very common thing.
Right.
And it can be anything electrical in your house. Just like, why is it doing that? And often a lot of that can be explained when investigated. And that's why you want to call us. And if you're from another state, call somebody else.
No, still call us. We'll
You
come.
can call us. And
Just
then
got to
we'll-
pay for us to get there, but you don't have to pay us.
We've had that happen. We've had people
we've
that have
gone to
called
other
us.
states.
We've done some traveling.
Yeah, but we don't charge. We just
Yeah.
go because we want to help the people
You don't
solve your
charge,
problem.
but I do.
No, you don't. All right. So, but there will always be a common denominator among all those things that Scott just read. All the electrical problems and stuff. There has to be a combination of physical signs and personal experiences. Now, some of the things would be, I sort of categorized them and I wrote them down.
Sure.
Sleep disturbances, sleep paralysis, not insomnia. You know, a lot of paranormal sites will say insomnia. You have to rule that out because a lot of people have insomnia. So that's actually not a sign. Sleep paralysis, out-of-body experiences, night terrors coinciding with marks, vivid, bizarre, dark nightmares, and the main one for demonic, the 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. wake-ups. That's
3
huge.
knocks, 3 noises, 3 this, 3 that. Very common.
You want to do the mental?
Mental afflictions. How about odd visions, sudden fear, uneasy feeling. And, you know, that's weird. If you've never experienced that, and, of course, until I met you, I never experienced it.
What?
But the uneasy feeling that you're not alone or that just something is going on around you. And until you experience that,
Yeah.
you know when it's happening.
And this isn't like you watch a scary movie and now you're freaked out, kind of, I'm
no,
not
that's
alone.
going to happen.
Right.
You just count
This is
on the
just in
scary
general.
movie thing. Abrupt anxiety or irritability. Well, I get that every day. Bouts of anger, onset of depression, odd thoughts, violence, or death. The urge
Odd thoughts of violence or death.
That too. What
Yeah,
did I say?
if you die, he said, well, no, odd thoughts, violence, or death. So if you get violent and die, you're haunted. It just sounded funny. Odd thoughts
that's
of
probably a good
violence
sign
and death.
if you get violent and die.
Yeah, that's pretty good sign.
At that point, you won't have to worry about it because now you are on the other side of the fence.
There you
You
go.
are the ghost.
Ooh.
How about urge to hurt yourself, cut yourself?
Yep.
And an urge to do violence in general. That's outside of anything that would be
Normal.
your character.
Right, yeah.
You know, when you start going outside your character, and I know that you can attest to this from things that have happened to you, and you mentioned it in your book, and of course I was actually there, but it's like you're completely knowledgeable of what's going on without all the control of what to do about it.
Right.
It's like you're inside yourself fighting with, like, why do I feel this way? And you acknowledge it in your own mind that I'm feeling angry and I'm mad, but yet no, I cannot stop feeling angry or mad.
And that goes more towards a spirit attachment than a
Right.
haunting.
But if you have an icky enough spirit in with you around the house,
And we get into spirit attachments,
right,
yeah.
right, it can affect you in the same
Because
way.
not every haunting will have a spirit attach itself to you, and it really depends. And
Just like every rose.
has its thorn.
Yeah, how'd you know?
Just had a feeling you were going to say that, Scott. Okay, so there's visual too.
And every night tends to have its dawn.
Dark shadows,
Just like, never mind.
black balls of light,
Oh, I remember
apparitions.
those.
Yeah, I know you do. I remember them well
I
too.
used to call them supersonic flies.
Yep.
And for you, that was a normal thing.
Right.
And until you experienced that too, I remember, you know, once again, I was fine till I met Heidi. And you're sitting there, you're watching TV, you're talking about her son, and out of the corner of your eye, you just seen this incredibly fast. You thought it was a fly, but it seemed to be too big and too fast to be a fly. And you're like, it caught you in the corner of your eye. Like, what was
But then
that?
there's also times it wasn't in the corner of your eye. It was like right in front of you too.
But it
Yeah.
happened so quick and so fast, not enough to focus on it, just enough to know that it happened.
Right.
Like, what was that?
That was weird.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that.
There's also audible, unusual or unaccounted for sounds, voices, whispering, footsteps, knocks, and again, a lot of times in threes, and that's usually a demonic presence. And we've gotten into in past podcasts about why threes. It's the demonic is a copycat of Christ, and God likes to use numbers for things, and they're significant. So to the enemy and his little minions, they do 3 as a mocking for Christ. 3 days he rose
There's
again
a lot.
on the
Lazarus
third day.
was in the dead for 3 days. Christ was on the cross for 3 days. You know what?
Or he rose on the third day.
The rose on the third. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah,
different
he was
things with
33 when
three.
he died,
Right.
3 in the afternoon. So just threes type thing. So
Right.
physical issues would be heaviness in the air, temperature drops, feeling breath on your neck, or you're getting odd scratches or
I thought that
bruises or
was you.
welts. If you get marks and stuff and you don't know where they came from, that happens. With your children, always watch with their imaginary friends, because there's a difference between kids having normal imaginary friends and real imaginary friends. You can tell. You just know, because these kids show a lot of emotion.
You can't always underestimate children or animals.
Right.
Because there's a level of, I want to use the word ignorance, and ignorance doesn't mean stupid. It means they just don't have knowledge of this. And because they don't have knowledge of it, they're open to it.
Right.
And because they're open to it, they sense it, and they feel it, and they don't question it. It makes them acceptable. And so you can say, you know, something's wrong with my child. They're seeing this, and that's going on. It's like, let's not call it a ghost right away, or a demon, or anything else. But let's not say it's nothing either.
Yep.
Let's just, we need to check this all out, and you know, you never want to point finger. I mean, too many people, it's like you get a little sniffle. Some people are like, okay, you need a whole drugstore full of medicine now. Okay, maybe it's just a little hair in their nose or something. It's okay, relax.
It's just allergies. Calm down.
Just relax.
Don't drug them up.
Okay.
And yeah, animals acting odd too was another one I was going to say. And like me, if you're sensitive, every place you've lived is haunted. It's you. It's not the place.
Common denominator.
You. And like Scott had mentioned about, you know, when you start feeling like you're feeling things that isn't you, even though you're feeling it, and you're like, you acknowledge that you're feeling it, but you're like, I shouldn't be feeling that. That's the sign of a spirit attaching itself to you or being around you, because you're picking up on their negative powers and principalities. You'll get like anxiety, chest pressure, your heart will race.
Chest pressure.
Yeah.
Very common.
Yes.
Especially when they're sleeping or in bed.
Yeah. Choking.
Or feeling like
That's an
something
attack.
is laying on me. You can see nothing. You hear nothing, but you can feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Like you got this weight on you.
But I'm talking too, if you're just...
I know you're talking. You've been talking the whole time. You never seem to stop talking. I don't even know how to slow you down. All you do talk all the time. Yep.
I'm a woman. That's what I do. And when you're sitting there, let's say you're cooking dinner or you're reading a book, and all of a sudden you just start feeling weird in your chest. I mean, yeah, you could be having a stroke, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is, like, let's say all these other things are happening.
Stroke or ghost?
Well, if you're already having, you know, night terrors, or your kids are have imaginary friends, or you're seeing shadows, or you have other signs, sort of put these together. Don't just say, oh, I have a chest pressure, I'm haunted. No, you got to look at the whole thing. If you have difficulty breathing at that time, your ears ring, headache, all that stuff means...
My ears ring all the time.
Well, yeah, but you don't have all these other signs. That's the point.
Okay.
Let's see, signs that a spirit's presence is around your area. So that's different. So if you've got something going on in your house versus something trying to attach itself to you, you're going to have different reactions.
Right.
So if there's something around, you're going to have that temperature drop, and the animals will act odd, and the electrical will flick. But if something's trying to attach itself to you, you'll be the target of the issues, not, you know, anything else. So that's something to think about. And then people who are susceptible.
Oh, those who have been through mental trauma.
Yes, that leaves it open.
You know, people who have addictions.
Mm-hmm. Because they're vulnerable.
You know, who deal with spirits on a regular basis. So if they're dealing with spiritual...
anything.
Yeah.
Because, those are wide open doors right there.
Yeah.
These things are continual and unexplainable. You just can't figure it out. You know, it could very well be a haunting. And the hauntings do have the effects. I mean, a spirit, you know, you can be attacked by a spirit and not have a haunting. And you can have a haunting, and, you know what I mean? And be attacked. Yeah.
Well, you know, too, it's... some people have bubbles around them, too. Spiritual bubbles are protected. Doesn't mean somebody else can't come to the house, or a child, or a husband can be afflicted. And I'm not always sure that it's always that someone in the house can't be afflicted, but the demonic world will play games, and they will turn you against each other.
Right.
So one could afflict you on a regular basis constantly, and you could claim this and claim that and claim this, and yet now I'm living in the same house and say to you, what are you talking about? Are you nuts? I don't see any of these things you're talking about. Everything you're talking about is explainable. You've got the problem. Well, that may not be the case. It may be the case, but it may not be the case.
Well, like the Amityville Horror. That house, some people that lived there were completely traumatized and spiritually oppressed and demonically influenced. And then there have been people who lived there and were never affected.
Right.
It just depends on the individual situation. And I try to hone in on that in my book, that it's always the person, because we are the source. And I know, like, people like to say the land is haunted or the house is haunted, but anybody can go. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be affected. So you're the common denominator in that.
Right.
So the haunting that has effects is called what we call spiritual oppression.
We've had clients who've had anything from a single physical attack by something unseen to continual physical attacks. But now oppression is when a spirit is with a person for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And it takes a toll on their mental and their physical state. It'll hit their mental first, but it's like anything, you can only be affected mentally for so long before it will affect you physically.
Or vice versa.
Sure.
It could. You start getting these migraines because it breaks you
down.
down.
I can actually, attest to that without a spiritual, ghostly thing. I have my share of aches and pains being a contractor through the years, and I go through bouts of things where it just really hurt, and it does begin to affect me.
Sure.
Attitude's affected. Don't sleep as well. And it has nothing to do with ghosts, but
and the weaker we get, the more that they can sort of like attach themselves onto us, then we get affected by them, by the spirits.
It breaks you down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, isn't that a tactic too in war? They try to break you down?
That's what they do.
Yep. So believe it or not, all people have had some type of spiritual encounter, but not everyone's going to recognize it. And too often it's the dark and scary experiences that cause us to pay more attention, like in my case. Our curiosity is raised by scary movies or things like that, but usually out of fear. So we don't have clues what's going on. We attribute it to, I don't know, a scary movie or a bad memory, or someone will try to talk us out of it. It's nothing, right?
Right.
And this happens a lot, too, without us even being conscious of it. We don't even realize what's going on.
You can be unconscious of it.
Yeah, unconscious of it.
Right. If you're not conscious, then the only opposite is unconscious.
Correct. You're smart.
So how do you consciously accept the unconscious things?
I know. I'll think about it. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
That's deep.
Just saying. We're used to it. We're numb because of, TV shows, movies, books. We are desensitized.
And much of what?
I mean, it's so true.
What?
Look at where we're
Desensitization,
at in society and TV. And if you would show some of the things in these movies and TVs to someone from the 1930s or 40s, they'd be sitting at church on their face praying that God would deliver society instantly. Rightfully so. But now, kids would look at a movie, it's like, an 8-year-old. Oh, yeah, my mom and dad showed me Jaws on DVD. I'm like, I remember my parents coming back from the movies. I was at a babysitter or whatever and they were talking about Jaws. Everyone was freaked out. Now, I know that Jaws is not a haunting movie, but it was scary. Mm-hmm. It was beyond what they were used to seeing. It was too much.
Yeah.
Too much to handle. It affected beaches all around the area, anywhere that had anybody to watch, the United States mostly, that seen the movie. It affected them. It's like, okay,
well, that's like, if you were to hit a spot,
way more people.
If you hit a spot on your arm so many times, it becomes callous and it becomes numb, and you don't even, and that's what we're doing to our minds. So, I remember I wasn't allowed to watch Grease when it came out. I was like 9 or something. I don't even know. And
my mom used the word smut.
Yeah, parents were not
smut.
Grease, and now it's like kids, like little girls are 5. So, I mean, and it's the same thing with scary movies. But I do find that movies to do with demonic stuff,
that's my name. Don't wear it out.
People get more scared with demonic stuff, and
I'm
I think
on a
it's
whole Grease thing right now. I can't even stop.
Because I think that I'm going to ignore you.
You can't ignore me.
Can't ignore me, Dan.
I won't be ignored, Dan.
But I don't know. They did come out with a lot of new Exorcist movies, and they were sort of lame.
Weren't they going to make us?
It is the TV show. There's an Exorcist TV show now. But when that movie came out, it was for like a year. Everybody talked about how people were traumatized by this movie because it was so scary.
The Exorcist still holds its ground. Is one of the scariest movies ever recorded.
But that's because it's so real and it's supposed to be true.
It is a real story.
Yeah,
and we've been over it that the real story is actually worse than the movie.
Yeah. So, but I think that's because people's spirits know that it's true.
Yeah, I don't know. That is
versus a Paranormal Activity kind of movie.
Even definitely not watching it now. No. But even when we were involved in actual ghost hunting and all the things that you don't do, which we know better now, that was one movie I just couldn't handle. Everything else I could handle. You can send your little Chuck E. Cheese guy at me and all these other people, whatever, fine.
Chuck E. Cheese guy? You mean Chucky the
Yeah,
doll?
I mean, all that
I
stuff
didn't know what
was
you
like,
meant.
yeah, whatever, okay. And it didn't bother me, but The Exorcist bothered me.
Well, most
And
people.
I still, when they show the commercials on TV for it coming on again on TV, I do close my eyes or turn my head or hum. I don't, because I've seen the movie. And the image is too strong in my head.
Oh, even the audio of it, I just
don't
can't.
Even I don't want to hear it. And I know you're thinking, well, what kind of ghost hunters and...
Well, we don't ghost hunt.
Or demonologists, whatever, are you? It's like, well, when I'm in the real thing and I have to deal with it, it's fine. But, you know, if I have to deal with somebody spinning their heads around and levitating, you know what? I might just leave. I don't know.
It's not entertainment for us.
It's not entertaining. You don't want to be
We've dealt
there.
with real demonic stuff, and it's not a joke.
It's not fun. There's nothing to laugh about or enjoy or think it's cool when you're dealt with somebody who's actually...
Demonic,
we have had a few actual demonically possessed people.
Yes.
It just... what's the word I'm looking for? It sucks. It's bad. There's nothing good about it.
Sucks is the word.
There's nothing... it's not even interesting. You're just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
You know, and just do what you got to do to help the individual. And, you know, it's like cleaning the sewer. Somebody's got to do it. Doesn't mean you enjoy your job. So.
Well, and that's what happens, though. Like, a lot of what we live in and what we've learned to accept as normal is dark. So now we're blind to the principalities that control the darkness. We participate in things that we don't even know are causing our issues. And also what others around us partake in will affect us as well. And that's where we get into the doorways of all this stuff.
The doorway is the term that we use to refer to the ways of spiritual issues that are allowed in our lives. Things that give spirits to afflict you. I wanted to do a little more of a drama thing.
You got the part, honey.
Did I?
Yeah,
Great.
it was good.
Thank you. I've passed the audition.
The number one thing, any act or practice in the occult, we have noticed that is like always an issue. Now, when I say occult, the actual word comes from hidden, and the term is defined as any belief, practice, teaching, philosophy, or organization that pertains to knowledge or help from secret supernatural powers or agencies. And some people will say, oh, well, that's, religion too. With God, he's supernatural. But you also have to think about it's not hidden. It's very open. So you don't have people hiding their occult practices when they're doing these weird pentagrams and all this stuff, like the dark stuff. But with religion or whatever, their doors are open. And so it's a little bit different with that. But there are acts that are very dangerous, and they open the door to entities that entangle in our lives. When our family or ancestors have done it, we can inherit that.
Yeah.
Like I did, generational curse. So...
and that's often where we get people, who are born sensitive to spirits, empath, sensitivities.
Yep.
It's like, you kind of inherited this. You didn't ask for it. You may have done absolutely nothing to get it. But that goes all the way back to generational curses and the first commandment. So
yeah, it goes. It starts somewhere and then it just keeps rolling. Now I was predicting earthquakes when I was like 4 years old, and my mom did the day I was born twice. 2 different earthquakes. And so I'm wondering, did that spirit of prophecy or the unfamiliar spirit of divination come onto me? Because then it started happening with me. And then I found out that my mom and my aunts and my grandma, they were all practicing things that open spiritual doors. And when many people don't have the knowledge that their parents have done that or ancestors or whatever, they're just like, I don't know, I've always been able to see spirits. I've always been sensitive. Or they haven't, and all of a sudden their kid has. And they're like, I don't understand. So it has to start somewhere. So many people who've never had a spiritual experience and suddenly do, one of the first questions I ask is if someone in their family recently passed away. Because we also see, as you know, if a grandma or somebody passes and all of a sudden someone starts having like this haunting, and they're like, oh, I think it was my grandma, but then all of a sudden all this other stuff started happening. So they assume it's like their grandma.
Sure.
But it's really the spirit that was with the grandma.
Can't live within a dead person.
Right, exactly.
It's got to move on to somebody else.
So that's real common. When I was 8, I saw my grandma and my mom practicing divination. And I heard my grandma say, oh, the gift runs in our family. Okay, so if seeing spirits is a gift, I don't see it that way, but because bad things happen. You soak up.
Bad things happen to good people.
That's right.
But good people can cause bad things to happen.
Empath lives matter.
Yes, they do.
So we can do absolutely nothing and have a supernatural experience, or we can open spiritual doors and begin to have them. So we can open spiritual doors and nothing happens, but then it happens to our kids. So,
that's an interesting thing because our one daughter has had some sensitivity issues and stuff. However, you're not the mother. So where did that sensitivity come from? We don't really know of it anywhere else.
Right.
On my side of the family, nobody else has experienced that I know of.
I think I know. But I don't know if I'm going to say on air. I'm afraid to say on air. Her mom and her grandma, isn't her grandma bipolar?
Oh, yeah.
It has a lot of weird
her
stuff.
Grandma and her mom. So they're all kind
right. And so,
whacked.
But the thing is, our daughter's been baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit. So her sensitivities are still there, but they're in a positive way. Although hers come through dreams and stuff, too.
That's right. Oh, she's a massive dreamer.
So, I mean, yeah. But I'd like to say that I have a little bit of, push on there, too, since I helped raise her.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
I just want to say. All right. So, let's...
Yeah, I didn't want to take anything away from you on that. I was just pointing out that there was not a bloodline right there.
So, yeah, that was a good point.
So, but now, your oldest son, which is, I raised the kid, but he had a lot of spiritual sensitivity when he was younger. Right. But now, either it's gone or he's doesn't recognize it or whatever happened, it doesn't seem to exist.
Well, and I don't know what happened, but he does. He's very spiritual, but just doesn't really care about like the work that we do. He's got his own busy life, and he's that whole, what do they call that? The whole generation of the 20s. So he's doing his own thing. The millennials. He's a millennial.
Our oldest boy is incredible. You cannot alarm this kid. You can't.
Mom, I think there's a demon in the basement.
I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. I don't know how many times we've all tried to startle him or scare him or just different things. You do. Yeah, everybody does it in their family. Boo, Jamie would be like, hey.
Yeah, so, all the people at his
not get startled.
All the people at his work were trying to pull together and get him on scare tactics because they were just really trying to scare him. We got to do it. No, he's just like, whatever, it happens, It's like, okay.
I was like, most people can be startled. You can catch people off guard. Anyway, that's a definite rabbit trail, but it's just something and I've mentioned it for years. I'm like, why? Why can't we startle you?
All right, so divination. We'll go over a couple of things. So we're bringing up these terms, and maybe you guys don't know what we're talking about. Divination is a variety of methods that attempts to predict potential outcomes surrounding a person, time, or event. Spiritism.
Any belief or practice pertaining to communication with the dead or spiritual beings, which is very. In the Bible, it's like, do not do this
because it's dangerous. Sorcery, which is also known as magic, this is the art practices by a person to receive and use supernatural powers through the aid of spirits.
Necromancy.
Yeah.
Any attempt involving communication with the dead, either by summoning their spirit as an apparition or raising them bodily.
So these things
are happened
doorways.
They did that on Beetlejuice.
Yes. Great movie. Yeah. But they raised Beetlejuice. Not a good idea.
Well, I gotta read it.
You know how many times?
3 times.
3?
Well,
There's that
times.
number 3 again.
Beetlegeist, that ain't it. Come on, try it. Get through one more time. Come on.
I love your Beetlejuice. It's the only reason I like October, because you do Beetlejuice for 30 days straight. I love it. Well, and these things you just have to be careful with, because if you do them, it's like an automatic open door, and it's going to be a rotating door that you can't stop. And if you think about
a major supernatural event here, babes, you know what I'm saying?
We're actually going to go over little things that fall under those categories.
We're going to go under it. Yep. Party like rock stars.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here's some things maybe you've never considered as being the key to the doorway to hell.
No.
Oh, that wasn't written. You must ask yourself, but not out loud. Have you ever used a Ouija board?
It's you, not the board, just saying.
Seen a sidekick.
No, a psychic.
Psychic. Oh.
Because you don't know what spirits are with them.
Tried to communicate with someone in the political field.
No.
No.
Who's dead? Spirits.
Oh, same thing. Done automatic writing without a computer. Or hunted
dead people. Ghosts.
Oh,
yes.
Ghost hunting.
So if you've done these things...
If you've hunted for ghosts, automatic writing, if you're trying to communicate with spirits, playing with psychics, Ouija boards...
Playing with psychics. Yeah, if you're playing with psychics.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Hey, Julie, you want to come over?
What about simple things like astrology, numerology, tea leaves? People are like, oh, that's not dangerous. No, but it's a form of it, and it's just sort of one little baby step. Tarot cards, runes, or the big stuff like taking part in a religious ritual or rite, spells, seances.
Hey, we can't classify these as, a 1 through 10 level.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
it is what it is.
They're all 10 levels.
Right.
How it's going to affect you, and if you're able to open that door, and if it happens, it doesn't matter if you were doing a full-blown a seance or if you were doing it with some tea leaves. You open a door.
It was like Donald Trump Jr. when he made that comment about the Skittles. It's sort of the same thing. If you had a bag of Skittles and you knew 3 of them in there were poisonous, but you didn't know which 3, would you take the chance?
Right.
And that's what you're doing with this stuff.
Yeah, it's a chance.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of kids or people or teens and stuff who've done rituals and rites and at the time, and maybe they only did it once. They may never be affected. Maybe. On the other hand, there could have been a door open, and that door could sit there cracked open for 10 years.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, there's a way, or a child is born into a family, or someone, all of a sudden the link is made, and here they come.
Yeah.
It's just like you open your door, and, half the time your cat runs out if you have a cat, but maybe this time the cat won't. It's not always a guarantee.
Yeah.
If you leave it open long enough, even for an animal, I know it's
something
kind of
can
weird.
come in, too.
Something will come in, or something's going to go out sooner or later, given enough time. Even the animal that's trained in your house never to go outside, you leave that door open long enough. I mean, maybe it's 2 days, I don't know. They're going to wander out. Spiritually, it works the same way. You leave it open long enough, something's coming in. And how big, how strong, how powerful, how demanding, how many... I don't know. There's some I don't knows there. We don't know all the answers. But we are darn close to knowing them all, I'll tell you that. Remember the urban legend games like Bloody Mary or the new one, Charlie Charlie?
That's just a form of talking to spirits,
Another one. Yo, CC.
No.
Charlie Charlie.
Say, I know, but you made it sound fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever
play CC? Yeah.
If you've ever gone under hypnosis or been put in a trance, even certain yoga and deep meditation methods can be dangerous because it's a mind thing. When you start shutting down your mind, things can, especially if you've used it for astral projection or lucid dreaming. And some people have even walked the labyrinth or attempted...
What, the what?
That labyrinth thing, that the maze, the meditation maze. Remember?
No, I don't know about these things.
Okay. Some people have walked that.
Am I supposed to know this?
No, it's okay. You don't have to, honey. Okay. Or if they've attempted levitation. Or
I do that all the time. It's never worked.
Or if you've even taken part in like a mental or parapsychology kind of study.
Is that two psychologists together?
A parapsychology? Yes.
Thought so.
So if you do things like that, anything that shuts down your mind and, lets something else take over, that's dangerous.
Unlike Heidi and myself, relationships can also be put in harm's way. Actually, for us, because we're oddball people, it put our relationship together. Weird. I know. True. Also, if you're close to anyone who does any of these things, you're subject to attacks. It's like, having the common cold or whatever.
Yeah.
You're with this person and suddenly you get the cold. Now, maybe you didn't actually touch them, but it's in the air. You become part of your surroundings.
Right.
And that part of that surroundings can be a sickness, can be, a spiritual attachment or attack or something.
Yeah.
It's not much different.
No.
I think I discussed it last week about just because you don't see the sickness doesn't mean it's not there.
And I did say last week, too, that we were going to be talking about the parallels to the physical realm.
Yes.
That's actually going to be next week for the part 2.
Lied.
It's going to be part 2.
You didn't tell the truth last week.
Well, I didn't.
Is what you're saying. You said that last week we talked about it this week.
Yeah.
But
and we're talking about it right now. See?
That's right. We could talk about it so you can say, no, I said next week. And this is this week.
Oh, that's confusing.
Now, last week makes that this week.
Okay.
This week now is next week.
Who's on first? So, even if you've shopped at a place where these things are done, like
Kmart?
Oh, well, I don't know. I did Bloody Mary and Sears, so
really?
Maybe.
Oh, that's right, in the bathroom.
Yeah, I told you that story.
Yes, scared some little kid who
freaked out and traumatized
she's
for life.
Still sitting in a small room, pounding her head against the wall. Great, Heidi.
So, if you've shopped at a place where these things are done, or bought anything from someone who does these types of things, or if you've gotten or bought a charm or herb or stone, jewelry, or a book that was from somebody who's practiced these things,
we've had that
spirits,
happen.
yeah, will transfer over.
I know. Then we say, items can't be attached to, but we have never been able to actually say a yay or nay on that because we've seen evidence that.
Yeah. They do all that. So you got to be real, real careful, too, with who you're friends with, who you're trusting. You know, you got to just, I don't know, because you don't know. And I know people who say, well, I have friends who do this, and that's great. I'm glad. But the thing is, the spirits that are with them can attach themselves to you. And we all have weaknesses. Everybody has...
Speak for yourself, Heidi.
I'm just saying.
There are too many experiences to say this isn't reality. Although not everything is spiritual oppression or a haunting, this is more common than you think. People just don't like to talk about these things.
Well, yeah, because they don't want people to think they're nuts.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm possessed. Yeah.
Well, it's more accepted now, but you still get the same criticism.
You're possessed? Me too.
Well, I think...
You want to go bounce off the ceiling together? Yeah, let's do it, man.
People believe it, but you figure if someone tells you, it's either people are going to be cynical about it, or they're going to judge you for it.
If they haven't experienced it, they're not going to understand.
No, that's not true, because there are people who believe this stuff that haven't experienced anything.
True, but I'm saying in general, the ones who are really going to come against you or call you a fake or if only you're weird or whatever, you've never experienced it, and I've said it before, good for those people who haven't experienced it, because it's not always a good thing to experience.
Right.
I mean, I haven't experienced leprosy either, but I don't want it to find out.
There's the first case of leprosy that came out. I just heard it on the news.
Really?
Yeah, I got to look
Locally?
it up. Yeah, I don't know. It was, I think, in the United States.
Yeah, it's not an accident.
I know. Okay, so anyways, yeah, it is more accepted, but there is a countless amount of people who are afflicted by spiritual oppression, and they just don't know it. This is the effect of supernatural forces and what it has on a person, whether it be mental, physical, or emotional, or all three of them. But you can use our site as a guide to see if you're experiencing unwanted paranormal
use your own eyes.
What? Use our site? Oh, God. You are the pun king, I tell you.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Their own eyes.
You're always just saying. So, but if you
Why
know...
don't you get out of that bathroom and give somebody else a chance, would you?
If you or someone else you know is encountering situations along these lines, we are here to help. So once we get our website up too, you can always email us until we have our site up. But our site will have all these things and
I've been seeing all my life. Don't have to worry, I can see just fine.
And we're going to skip, because we went over tonight, so we're going to skip our rock and reject segments.
Heidi talked way too much, as usual.
That's because I had a lot of information to give out. I am spent. So thank you guys for listening. Comment or email and let us know what you think of the show.
What if they didn't listen?
And we'll meet you back here next week with...
You can't thank people who didn't listen.
More of our
It should say
take.
thank you for everyone who listened.
Thank you for everyone who's listening.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't
tomato,
listen.
tomato. So remember, you can always choose not to believe truth. But ignorance is a voluntary misfortune. And nothing is more dangerous than sincere ignorance.
Hey, this is Heidi from Talk Supernatural. You guys know I like to talk, right? So let's keep the topic going. Like our Facebook page, Talk Supernatural Podcast, and follow us on Twitter at TSR Parapod. Like us, love us, hate us, hit us up with an email, talksupernatural@gmail.com. Listen live on Friday nights and join us in the chat room. We'll make you guys part of the show.
Check out more from Talk Supernatural Radio. Head over to tsradio.net. You can listen to TSR on iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, and YouTube. If you have any questions or would like to know more on spiritual afflictions, hauntings, demonic influence, check out Scott and Heidi's SWAT resource site at EPH612SWAT.com.
This world's a tortured place to be. So many things to torment me. And as I stumble down this road, it takes a toll. I need an intervention. But I can see it coming. Some things just can't be explained.
And that's all, folks.